like to do something a little bit different today. We'll start as usual with a meditation for a few minutes. Then I'm going to cut in and introduce a guided meditation that is something I was experimenting with and that I introduced for the workshop I did in Minneapolis. So let's do about 10 minutes of silent meditation first. this contemplation is based on a visualization of the heavenly realms related to the chakra system in the body, which some of you may have some familiarity with, the seven chakra system. And I've been doing some exploration in this regard, and there seems to be a good parallelism. So we'll go up and then down again, beginning with the root chakra, which is located at the base of the spine, it's the seat of Kundalini, relating this to the Chatumharajaka realm, the realm of the four great kings. This is the seat, the base, the origin. This is the place of protection and guardianship. Four great kings then ward and watch in the four directions. And this chakra in the chakra system has four petal lotus. And this is the place when it's energized and working. It's the place of guardianship. It protects us from all the lower energy coming from the lower realms below, particularly signified by the asuras, who are always trying to get past this point of guardianship, bringing in all the lower energies. But this is a solid seal and protection. Moving the energy upwards to the chakra of sensuality, Svadhisthana, which is located in the lower belly down towards the pubic region. Visualize this as the Tawatingsa heaven. The place of all sensual delights, beauty and music, gorgeous scents and tastes and sounds, song and dance. Devas enjoying great delight. Rising higher to the navel chakra, Manipura, which means the jeweled city or the jeweled palace. This is the heaven of the Yama deities, those who are content, those who are at peace. And when this chakra is functioning, it's the seat of bliss, the seat of contentment, the oceanic bliss. These are the deities beyond all conflict, beyond all strife. higher at the heart region is the chakra of Anahata. This is corresponding to the Tusita heaven. This is the abode of all the bodhisattvas before they become Buddhas. And there dwells now Maitreya, the coming Buddha, who is the Buddha of compassion. Seated on his jeweled lotus throne, surrounded by a myriad of attendant deities, radiating compassion. Here at the heart chakra. Raising your consciousness higher to the throat. This is Visuddha, the seat of purity. This is the chakra of creativity and expression. Corresponds to the heaven of the Nimanarati deities, those who delight in creation. Whose wondrous forms can change shape and color at their will and live in fantastic surroundings of their own imagining. Here the power of dream is made reality. Then higher, the center of the forehead is the third eye chakra, Ajna. Corresponding to the heaven of the Vasavati deities, the deities of power, who bend others to their will. This chakra is the seat of will and power. It's represented by a two-petal lotus. And finally, just above the physical body, above the crown of the head, opens up the 1,000-petal lotus of the crown chakra, corresponding to the seat of Brahma. He who has transcended sensuality, ascended coarse materiality, and sits in splendor above it all. And this chakra is open to the infinity the unimaginable expanse of higher realms. We will move downwards, emanating this infinite consciousness of the Brahma realms down into manifestation of form, beginning with the Vasawati Devas, the beings of power at the third eye. The beings of creation at the throat. The seat of compassion at the heart. The place of contentment and bliss at the navel. The Yama deities. The resplendent beauty and sensuality of Tawatingsa at Swadhisthana in the pubic region. And finally grounded in the solidity of the realm of the four great kings at the root. First of all, say that it's somewhat venturing outside the narrow confines of Theravada Buddhism to bring in the seven chakras. The only Theravadan teacher that I'm aware of any note who does this to any degree is Ajahn Lee with some of his meditation techniques. Chakra systems are used extensively in yoga, particularly in Kundalini yoga, and there's a version related in Tibetan Buddhism. They make a great deal about the chakra system, although their chakra system's a little different than the one found in the yoga systems. But there's a great parallelism between the vision of the cosmological heavens and the chakras in the human body, which is not not really unexpected in one sense, in that it's always been a principle in many spiritual systems that as above, so below, or the macrocosm is a replication of the microcosm. It's a kind of a fractal unfolding of reality. And we can find in our own body-mind system, we can find a mirror of the greater cosmos. And our own being is a reflection, as a emanation of the cosmos. It all fits together neatly. And when I began looking at this analogy closely, I found many points of correspondence. Beginning with the Muladhara, the root chakra, the symbol for that is a four-petal lotus, which couldn't be more appropriate for the realm of the four great kings. And the four great kings have their hordes of their armies of defenders, protectors, who are all kind of monstrous beings that have been turned to service, become Dhammapalas, defenders. The four great kings have four armies of Yakas, Nagas, Kumbhandas, and Gandhabas. So if we're not purified in the base, if we don't have a base in sila, if we're corrupted, then we're prone to invasion. Metaphorically speaking, we're prone to invasion by these demonic hordes. But these energies, in a purified being, they're defense and a protection. And this is said in the yogic system to be the seat of the Kundalini energy. This is where the energy that energizes all the chakras, that rests until the chakras are opened and it's liberated to move up and energize the other chakras. And that symbol has come down through the centuries in the caudakus, which is used by the medical profession today as a snake twining around a pillar. This is the origin of that. Then the place of sensuality, Svadhisthana, very appropriately represented by Tawatingsa, which is always described in great detail as all the luxurious flourishes of Indian imagination of sensuality, is very florid and detailed about the parks and the gardens, and also including dancing girls and heavenly musicians and divine ambrosia as food and drink. In the chakra system, this is represented by a six-petal lotus, which is also appropriate for a seat of sensuality, as it represents the six senses. Then the Yama heaven is the first heaven that's disconnected from the physical earth. So the assaults of the asuras don't bother them. They're not in any way connected to the lower realms physically. So they're at peace. And this, in the chakra system, is at the navel is the seat of emotion. And when it's in an unhealthy state, and we feel it, we feel it in the belly when we have anxiety or negative, stressful emotions, and it's even in colloquial language we say, I feel it in my gut, right? This is it's also a kind of animal intelligence in the belly. And when it's open and when it's completely unobstructed, this is the seat of bliss and kind of oceanic bliss and contentment, peace. Yeah. If you observe the breath at the belly, it's very much like the ocean tides going in and out. You have that oceanic feeling there. This is a place of contentment. Then the heart chakra is represented by Tushita heaven, which is the place of compassion. This is where the emanation of loving kindness and compassion, sympathetic joy, are from this center. This is the place where we begin to experience a higher consciousness, disconnected from a self sense. And here is the seat of Maitreya Buddha. So this is also the place of Bodhi, of wisdom. Tushita heaven is a heaven realm that's sought out by the wise. If you can't escape the plane of sensuality, your best rebirth is here in Tushita, in the presence of Maitreya Buddha. Then is at the throat, is the Visuddha chakra. Visuddha means purity, and here's the place when it's purified that the energies of creation and expression occur. And this is represented by the deities of the Nimanarati realm, the deities who delight in creation, whose whole existence is a kind of a dreamlike play. They can change their form and their color at will, and their dwellings and their chariots and all their accoutrements are created by their own mind. They live in a mind-created realm. So this is a kind of a dreamlike realm of creation. No? There's a Tibetan yoga of meditating on this chakra as you go to sleep, to enter the dream realms consciously. So this is connected with the realm of dreaming as well. The third eye is the Agni chakra at the forehead. Is the place of will and of power, psychic power. It's represented by a two-petal lotus, just as this realm in the cosmology has two rulers. There's the Deva Raja Vasawati himself, and there's also Mara, who rules a quarter of this realm as a rebel prince. So the will of a being, the intention, can be turned either to good or ill. And this is the place of vision. This is the place of decision and power. And these deities, the Vasawati deities, are the summit of the sensual desire realm. And they command others. It's the nature of their being. They're served by the deities lower than them. And they do nothing for themselves. Then we pass the threshold we leave behind the sensual realm altogether, and we enter into the Brahma realm, the realm of the first Brahmas. And this is seated in this system, this correspondence with the Sahasrara chakra, the thousand-petaled lotus that opens up just above the crown of the head and opens to infinity. This is the bowl on the top of the head. This is the opening to the higher planes of consciousness. Brahma seated on his resplendent throne in his jeweled palace looks down on the lower levels, but he also opens up to the higher levels. And each higher level is more expansive and vast than the one before. Each Brahma has thousands of worlds below him. And above the Brahma realm is the realm of the Abhisara beings, and each of those has thousands of Brahma worlds below them. And above those are the Subhakina beings, and they have thousands of Abhisara beings below them. Thousands of Abhisara realms, kingdoms. And above them is the Vipapala, the beings of great perfection, of great fruit. And they have thousands of Subhakina beings below them. So we're opening up we're now talking trillions of world systems. So from this point at the crown of the head, opening up the thousand-petal lotus, we're opening up to a great infinity of higher consciousnesses, more refined consciousness. So one way of viewing the existence of these various realms are as emanations of each other. It's said that each of the sensual heavens follows an archetypal pattern. They each have a Nandana grove at the center. This beautiful pleasure park. And they all follow the same sort of geography. But each one is increasingly, as you move up through the six sensual heavens, each one is increasingly refined, and purified, and subtilized. Each one is more subtle, more refined, more elegant, less connected to coarseness, grossness than the one below. So they're purified reflections of each other. And moving downwards is a movement to increasing materiality, increasing coarseness, also increasing complexity. So there's an emanation downwards into material plane of these very ethereal energies. And they manifest at all these different levels. And our being exists simultaneously on all these various levels. That we have these levels of consciousness. This is made somewhat explicit in the myth of the origins in the Aganya Sutta. which is a very interesting and informative expression, that at the beginning of this Earth system, when the Earth was dark and unformed, consciousness first entered this system from the Abhisara realm, from what the second level Brahma realm. And beings from the Abhisara realm circled the dark Earth where sun and moon were not yet evident. And the Pali uses that, doesn't say they don't exist, it says they were not manifest or not evident, which seems to imply that the world was covered in thick clouds or very gloomy. But the Abhisara beings were not deterred by that because they're self-luminous. They have their own radiance. But they grew curious about the earth, and particularly about a foam that was forming on the sea as the earth congealed and settled. This is described as a nutritious foam, oja. And some of the beings decided to taste it by taking it on the tip of their fingers, which, having even raised that intention in their mind, they'd already fallen from the pure state of an Abhisara being, because they were having a curiosity and interest in things of the senses. Then they take on a coarse materiality and descend to earth. So this is a symbolic expression of consciousness from the higher planes manifesting on the lower planes. This kind of vision of, or model, or however you want to term it, of consciousness existing on different planes of reality parallels in other systems too. One that has a close parallel to this is the Kabbalah, which has its own system of different levels of consciousness that descend from a divine source through several layers of increasing materiality or grosser manifestations until it reaches the physical plane. And the consciousness of a human being is said to be able to transverse these different planes, experience the different planes of reality. So this way of looking at things is very common in spiritual traditions, or trying to understand the nature of mind, nature of reality. And the movement downwards is one movement of manifestation, of coming into being. The movement upwards is a movement of opening to higher levels, higher planes of reality. We're trying to make that expression conscious. It's already there. It's already present in our being. All these different levels are present in our being, and we can make them more conscious and try to center our being at a higher level. In the yogic system, it said the Svadhisthana, the sexual chakra, is the place where self is created. So the Muladhara is actually below the level of having an ego, a self, and the self is created by sensuality, which is Mara's domain, which is the attachment to the six senses. So this occurs at that place, and then we begin to unravel the self as we go higher. And the Anhata chakra at the heart is The seat, anhata means the unstruck sound, which is the place of um, the great harmony, the sound that is self-generated, that's not created by a striking of one thing on another, as earthly sounds generally are. This is a good metaphor for the Brahma Viharas, for compassion and the rest. That we're emanating outwards a purified sound into the universe. So this meditation I've worked up, I've been experimenting with. It seems like a very very accessible way of practicing recollection of devas, which is one of the 40 meditations in the Visuddhimagga. It gives a point of anchor to the body. And it's always good in meditation to have some point of anchor to the body. And this combines that physical system with the cosmological system. And if you want to experiment with this on your own, you can go up and down several times, and particularly rest at the heart chakra and the crown chakra. The Tushita heaven of Maitya Buddha, and at the realm of Brahma, open to the infinity above. So I thought I'd offer you this as a kind of a experimental reflection, a playful way of perhaps exploring the different levels of consciousness and bringing some more connection to the cosmological vision, seeing how it connects to our actual experience.
Andamaya Damakataya Sadhu Karam Dadam Ase Sadhu 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 Dami.
Okay, so that was quite different than the usual fare, but I hope it wasn't too outlandish.